I'm Rochelle Sufi. Your provincial newscast starts right now.
Happy Canada Day, everybody. Welcome to Ottawa, Canada.
In-person parties are back.
We've been to Ottawa the last 2 years when there was no celebration, so we're really enjoying this. Good to have it back.
How Canadians celebrate Canada's birthday in the nation's capital.
Here as a family to celebrate Canada's birthday, wouldn't have it any other way.
Plus, walking through history.
We should honor the Anishinaabe people for their contribution to the war in 1812.
How the descendants of Chief Penasay are hoping to use Canada Day as an opportunity for reconciliation. Welcome to this special edition of CBC News on Canada Day. We are coming to you from the CBC Ottawa newsroom. Canada Day celebrations have returned to the nation's capital. Thousands of people are in Ottawa to mark the country's 155th anniversary. The feeling 155th anniversary. The feeling is different from previous years. People able to take part in large-scale celebrations in person for the first time since the pandemic was declared. CBC's Olivia Stefanovic has this report.
The party is back.
Where else would you want to be on Canada Day?
Though not on Parliament Hill, where construction moved the celebration down the street.
Happy Canada Day, everybody.
The first Canada Day in Ottawa. Yeah, for all of us.
For all of us.
So it's pretty exciting.
Not only is the location different, there's a much heavier police presence, bracing for more protests from Freedom Convoy supporters. And emotions are high.
Just get outside and having to see a lot of people just gets you in the mood, right? So it's a really nice feeling.
For the past 2 years, a big celebration like this wasn't possible. But now with restrictions eased, Canadians have a chance to celebrate in large numbers again.
We're also excited just to be back in person again.
The Prime Minister, no longer sharing Canada Day video messages, addressed the crowd.
We really pulled through these past difficult 2 years, and now we still got challenges now and challenges ahead, but we can do it.
He also acknowledged not everyone is celebrating.
This day may also be a reminder of what we have lost.
So acknowledged not everyone is celebrating.
This day may also be a reminder of what we have lost.
A message echoed by Canada's first Indigenous Governor-General, noting the harmful legacy of colonization still being felt in First Nations, Inuit, and Métis communities.
This pain is renewed as they uncover locations of unmarked graves at residential schools. We must all work together to walk the road of reconciliation.
Congratulations!
For 49 people, it was a day to officially become Canadian. This family from Zimbabwe took their oath in their new home of Iqaluit.
It's like winning the lottery, extremely excited. It means a lot to us. This is like more opportunities being open to us, just having that ability to vote.
A community that's gathering together once again after being apart for so long. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, Ottawa.
Now to the heart of celebrations in the capital. We take you to LeBreton Flats, a 20-minute walk west of Parliament Hill, where the people we spoke to say they're happy to be celebrating together again.
Happy Canada Day, everybody. Welcome to Ottawa, Canada.
From custom Canadian flag robes to Captain Canada, it was a sea of red and white taking over parts of the city to celebrate Canada's 155th birthday.
Here as a family to celebrate Canada's birthday, wouldn't have it any other way.
For Peter Doe and his family, today is extra special.
We immigrated to Canada 4 years ago, but we spent almost 2.5 years inside.
As big gatherings were put on hold for 2 years during the pandemic. But now...
So today is maybe the first day I enjoy the Canada Day. And so excited to go out and share a moment with people.
But celebrations were not contained to just one area of the city. Byward Market was also decked out in red and white.
Oh my God, I'm so proud to be Canadian. It's crazy. I come out every friggin' year. It's amazing. It's just
I love it. Love it.
Connor Burnett Stone happy to welcome the crowds.
Amazing. It's just, I love it. Love it.
Connor Burnett Stone happy to welcome the crowds.
I'll tell you what I'm seeing this year that we didn't see last year is more people from overseas.
But for this family, they wanted to make sure their kids grow up with good memories, and
we're all getting together as one big country, so and we want to show the example to the kids as well.
We wanted to celebrate it, and this year with a bang, you know, and show the kids what it means to be Canadian, what it means to be proud.
Canada Day events wrapped up this evening with fireworks. Security has been much tighter and the police presence much bigger at this year's Canada Day celebrations in Ottawa. There have been concerns about attempts to repeat the weeks-long Freedom Convoy that took over parts of the city in the winter. Several demonstrations were planned for Ottawa today, but by this afternoon, only one had gone underway. CBC's Rafi Boudjikanian has the latest. CBC's Rafi Boudjikanian has the latest.
After a mostly quiet day, protesters did set off for a march in front of Parliament Hill, chanting freedom, thanking the organizers of the original protest convoy from February in name, Pat King, Tamara Leach, and basically saying that they're not going to give up their fight to end mandates, many of which, if not most, have already been lifted. Now, police had set up blockades around Parliament Hill to get onto the hill itself. You needed to go through a security check. It's been mostly quiet. There was an altercation yesterday. Police say one of their officers was assaulted at the National War Memorial, and they then ended up arresting 4 people. They're still looking into that incident. There has been little response from government today, although in a speech to Canadians, the Prime Minister appeared to take a subtle shot of his own. Although in a speech to Canadians, the Prime Minister appeared to take a subtle shot of his own.
There's no challenge too great if we face it together. This is Canada's promise, and this is what our flag represents. To be who you are, to love whom you love, to chase your dreams, to live without fear. This is the freedom the maple leaf represents.
Ottawa bylaw, meanwhile, has issued 275 parking ticket violations and towed 72 vehicles. Rafi Boudjikanian, CBC News, Ottawa.
Back to the celebrations now, this time to Toronto. For the first time since 2019, Toronto has had a full slate of Canada Day activities planned for the entire weekend. Greg Ross takes us on a tour.
Canadian pride was on full display this morning at the Canada Day Parade in Toronto's East York community.
I want to start by wishing everybody a happy Canada Day.
The mayor was there to take in the parade and to help welcome some newcomers to Canada, celebrating their first Canada Day.
40% of these people that they are with us today are actually the people that they have been evacuated from Afghanistan in past few months.
At Ontario Place, it was about recognizing those who have been here the longest. This Indigenous concert kicking off a weekend-long celebration.
It's also a day to think about some things that have happened in our history that are not as good, such as the way we've treated Indigenous people, and I think we can continue to work on that and learn about that.
Diversity is a big part of the Rhythms of Canada Festival at the Algonquin Museum.
Our basis of our museum is about artifacts and arts and culture from Muslim civilizations, but as you know, Muslim civilizations did not exist on their own.
A number of fireworks displays will go ahead as planned tonight after the city avoided a huge disaster.
Unfortunately, yesterday morning, this vendor advised us that he would not be living up to his contractual obligations.
City staff managed to find a new vendor at the last minute and salvaged 2 of the biggest fireworks shows this weekend, including Ashbridges Bay. The city is hoping there won't be a repeat of what happened there on the Victoria Day long weekend.
it was a very small group of people, you know, hooligans really, on Victoria Day, that weekend, that ruined it for everybody. But they engaged as well in very reckless behavior that could have resulted in somebody literally dying because they were shooting fireworks at each other and at the police officers.
Police and bylaw.
Because they were shooting fireworks at each other and at the police officers.
Police and bylaw enforcement officers will be present, and anybody who does set off fireworks or engages in any kind of disruptive behavior will, of course, be held accountable.
People are permitted to light off fireworks on their own property this weekend, provided they don't do it past 11 p.m. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
Celeste DeCare is here with our weather. Celeste, we had some nice weather for Canada Day. What can we expect this weekend?
We certainly did. Those showers we were expecting this afternoon held off just in time for those outdoor celebrations in the capital. As for overnight tonight, we are expecting some lingering showers past midnight in places like Windsor, Toronto, and Ottawa. But those should end because we're in for a beautiful Saturday and Sunday this weekend right across Toronto and Ottawa. But those should end because we're in for a beautiful Saturday and Sunday this weekend right across southern Ontario. And kicking off your week, your first full week of July is also looking beautiful already. In Ottawa, we're looking at 15 degrees overnight tonight and 27 tomorrow, bright and sunny. Similar conditions in Windsor, although we are expecting a little bit of a risk of thunderstorm overnight tonight, and a high of 29, so just a little bit warmer in that region. And then in Toronto this evening, 17 degrees for your low, and your high just as bright and beautiful as the rest of Southern Ontario at 28 degrees with just a little bit of cloud coverage throughout your morning and afternoon.
Today is a day to reflect on Canada's past, and some descendants of an Algonquin Grand Chief are hoping to bring some lost history to light. CBC's Dan Takama brings us this story. Algonquin Grand Chief are hoping to bring some lost history to light. CBC's Dan Takama brings us this story.
A song to honor Grand Chief Constant Penesse, whose hunting grounds once stretched far beyond Ottawa, but whose history has been largely forgotten. Today, his descendants gathered at Stanley Park to mark the first ever Chief Penesse Day with drumming and dance.
We're reclaiming the lands, if you will, and the titles that Chief Penesse held.
Merv Saracen is a counselor for the Algonquins of the Biwaknagan First Nation and brought a printout with a family tree going back 7 generations, detailing his lineage to the Grand Chief.
This person, Chief Constant Penesse, had a role here, responsibility, and we're his descendants, and we're here to revive it and continue it. It's a great story.
A path tracing a portage the chief once used was also inaugurated today. The 3-kilometer loop will feature 7 interpretive stops along the way.
A trail that is commemorative of a portage that at one point would have joined the Rideau River and the Ottawa River around the Rideau Falls. Really, we're hoping to share this knowledge about portage trails and Indigenous presence in this area.
Wendy Jocko, chief of the Algonquins of Biwaknagan, is also a direct descendant of Chief Penesse, who fought with the British during the War of 1812. She arrived at the event by canoe, the same way her ancestor would have traveled centuries ago.
While July 1st is a celebration, it's difficult for some, and the descendants of Chief Penesse are hoping to use Canada Day as an opportunity to highlight an important part of this land's history.
This day is, very, very sensitive day, although 1st of July will always come to pass, but we're remembering our ancestors and their survivors, and they are walking amongst us today. So if it wasn't for Chief Penesse, his sons, his warriors, and other First Nation allies, this country may not have the celebration on the 1st, could very well be on the 4th.
Chief Jocko says she hopes people honor that contribution by making Chief Penesse Day an annual tradition, and that those who use the trails will remember the man who once walked them too. Dan Takama, CBC News, Ottawa.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister shared a message with Canadians today, talking about the promise of this country and looking towards the future.
Today, we celebrate the country we love and the people we share it with. Canada is home to over 38 million people. Canadians who live in cities and towns, big and small, people who are Indigenous to this land, and those who've been here for weeks, for months, for years, or for generations. My friends, Canada is strong because of our diversity. No matter what our faith is, where we were born, what color our skin is, what language we speak, or whom we love, we are all equal members of this great country. And today, we celebrate the place we all call home. Now, I know for some, our country's historic wrongs can make that difficult. But while we can't change history, we can put in the work to build a better future, one that reflects our values of hope, resilience, kindness, respect, and generosity. Generation after generation, Canadians have shown that we can deliver on those values. We did it when we signed our charter in 1982. We did it when we took care of each other during the pandemic, and we do it every day when we welcome refugees with open arms. Today is an opportunity for us all to recommit ourselves to those values, values that the maple leaf represents. Because our flag is more than a symbol, it's also a promise of opportunity, a promise of safety for those fleeing violence and war, and a promise of a better life. So as we come together today, let's think about what this country means to us. And tomorrow, let's challenge ourselves to find new ways to live up to the great promise of Canada. From my family to yours, Happy Canada Day.
In her Canada Day message, Governor-General Mary Simon talked about hope and the need for inclusivity.
Hello, Dungasawitsi. Happy Canada Day. Wherever and however you mark the day, remember to keep working together to build an inclusive society. Be kind to each other. Make safe spaces where our stories can be told. Listen to Indigenous peoples on whose land we live. Learn from one another. Have hope for the future and faith in our neighbors, our friends, our family, and ourselves. Canada is our home. On Canada Day, let's all commit to a country where everyone truly belongs.
Southwestern Ontario now, where they're marking Canada Day across the region. The small community of Woodsley missed its chance to host a Canada Day parade in 2020. That was because of COVID, but it got its chance this year. The day had a full slate of celebrations, including a parade, horse show, and concert. Hundreds came out to take part in the parade, which serves the greater municipality of Lakeshore. Those we spoke to were happy to have the celebrations back.
It's wonderful to have it back, to see this many people in our community again, because Woodsley is growing, it's getting bigger, more people are moving into the area, and it's nice to get everyone back together and get that feeling of openness, because we've been closed in and, sheltered for 2 years, and it's nice to be out and about.
This is Canada Day, and it's also a special anniversary in Hong Kong. July 1st, 1997 was the day the city was returned to China by the UK. There was a flag-raising ceremony to mark the 25th anniversary of the handover. Chinese President Xi Jinping made a rare visit to mark the event. He also swore in the city's new leader, former security chief John Lee. Xi says they will maintain the one country, two systems policy, but critics have accused China of cracking down on freedoms in Hong Kong. Canadian rocker Randy Bachman was taking care of some very personal and emotional business in Japan this Canada Day. He traveled to Tokyo to recover a prized possession he lost 45 years ago, and while there, he put on a show at the Canadian Embassy.
Randy Bachman has performed on Canada Day many times before, but the event here at the Canadian Embassy in Tokyo might be the most unusual. Bachman is here to reclaim his very first guitar, which was stolen from a Toronto hotel more than 4 decades ago. It was a 1957 Gretsch, a rare model. Bachman bought it in Winnipeg when he was 19 and used it to record some of his biggest hits. He's bought hundreds of other Gretsch guitars over the years, but when this one was stolen, he was heartbroken. Search efforts turned up nothing, and somehow it eventually ended up on the other side of the world, up for sale at a vintage guitar shop here in Tokyo. That's where a Japanese musician known as Takeshi picked it up without knowing its history. Now, fast forward to 2020 when a Bachman fan from BC incredibly managed to track down the guitar using special image software in a video posted on YouTube. Bachman then got in touch with Takeshi, which led to this event at the embassy, a kind of repatriation ceremony. So on Canada Day in Tokyo, the two men got on stage in front of a small crowd, and in quite an emotional moment for both of them, they swapped Bachman's long-lost Gretsch for one that's almost a carbon copy.
But to come here and get do the trade has been very, very emotional, and I appreciate this honorable man giving me this opportunity to get the guitar back. Amazing.
The pair played some Bachman hits after trading guitars, and the Canadian says he wants his unique connection with Japan to continue. He's written a new song, and he's playing it with his old guitar with lyrics in Japanese. Chris Corday, CBC News, Tokyo.
Celeste Kerr is back with our final look at weather. Celeste, what can we expect this weekend?
We're in for a beautiful weekend. Both Saturday and Sunday, right in Windsor, Ottawa, and Toronto are looking beautiful. I do want to turn to Saturday, starting off at around 16 degrees early in the morning, warming up to around 22 at noon, and then 26, nearing your high in the afternoon for Ottawa. A clear evening ahead. Looking at similar conditions in Toronto, they're in for a bright and beautiful summery Saturday as well, nearing 27 for their high in the afternoon, late evening, clear conditions as well. And then Windsor in for a beautiful day as well, possibly a little bit more cloud cover in the afternoon, but looking like it'll be around 30 degrees for the high in Windsor. Now, if we're looking at the winds, overall it's going to be quite calm right from Windsor all the way to Ottawa for most of the day on Saturday and Sunday. So you won't get a lot of that breeze, but you'll get quite a bit of that sun. And then a quick 7-day forecast for Ottawa, starting off your week with a little mix of sun and cloud at 24, and then warming up right across for your week in Ottawa. That's it for your weather.
That's our show for tonight. Thanks for joining us and have a great weekend.